Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here. Welcome back to another Brown Dust 2 video. So if you guys are not aware, Brown Dust 2 had a collaboration and this is going to be of day 2. So let's talk a little bit more about the Senran Kagura collaboration, what is happening right now, and do not forget to do guild raids because they have changed the format for guild raids entirely. So right now, if you guys are not aware, there's no longer those minions. I've already uploaded my guide on how to beat Doomsday Machina level 10. If you guys are interested, you can use the strat for whichever lower difficulty as you please. But in this video, let's focus on the important one, and that's going to be what is happening right here. That's going to be the Powder of Hope, right? So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. So right now, we do have the golden thread as per usual. White Bolt Yuri will be available right here. Now, in my opinion, Yuri is still kind of decent, alright, overall as a character because of her ability to remove buffs, but you don't really need her to be high plus. Alright, so what is the stopping point for Yuri, right? Let's say you have her at +0. I mean, of course, if you don't have her, you want to get one copy of her, sure, right? You can go with that. But +1 is going to be a good stopping point. I wouldn't go personally above that because going to +2 is going to increase her damage a little bit more, right? Sure, it's all just damage throughout. But Yuri is not really a DPS that a lot of players are going to focus to build just because in the light physical category, we have a few other characters ready like Sacred Justia, we got Ventana, right? And maybe I'm missing out some, but again, Yuri is probably in a very weird spot thoroughly right now, right? So I do think that if you are recruiting her specifically for the remove buffs, then it's going to be good. Her this costume, however, is going to be better. If you're looking at damage, you can see this one, right? 900% off the attack, right? Now this one is going to be 160% times 4. Now in terms of multiplier, this one is way higher, right? Also applies target avoidance and stuff. She is going to be a much more expensive character that will require both costumes to be used. If you use them together, she's actually not bad. But she's not super meta by any means, right? In most Fiend Hunter guild raids, we are going to opt in to use Sacred Justia instead of Yuri as a whole, right? Now, let's focus on the Powder of Hope. Right now, in my opinion, you know, the reason why I keep mentioning Sacred Justia is because this is one of the best Powder of Hope that we have ever had, right? For anyone who haven't had any of these characters, all 4 of these characters, in my opinion, top tier, alright? Now, first things first, if you have not already, please get B-Rank Idol Helena. Alright, this is going to be the one that's a must-have in my opinion. Essential. Now, yes, in some situations, Grenadier is going to be the one that's being used, but she's still going to be very, very crucial in most cases, in most situations. Now, the truth is, Helena is a very strong buffer. You can see right here, improve a lot in the ability of what she can do. Her +3 is her stopping point in terms of the reduction in SP, right? So you want to get that up at least a +3. I do have the special skin for her, which was available last season, but still, this is going to be a very, very good one for Helena, right? So the only downside with Helena, I would say, is going to be the requirements in getting, in needing both costumes, right? You sort of need the other one as well, which is going to be this particular one, to basically get the full utmost effect of her, right? This one is going to boost you, give you magic attack and crit rate. This one is going to give you back SP, alright? And then 70% barrier to all allies. The SP is the important one. 6 SP is a lot, right? Like giving you back 6 SP for 1 SP, insane, alright? If you get both of these, definitely she's one of the top buffers, top supporters in the game right now. So ideally, highly recommend you guys to recruit her. In my opinion, she should be the priority right here. If you only have to pick one, you should go for her. Now, what about Sacred Justia? I would say she's borderline 2nd place in the comparison to Helena. She should be a priority. Sacred Justia is one of the strongest DPS character in the game. In fact, if you start today, if somebody came up to me and asked, hey, GuitarRock, I'm looking to build like 1 DPS and only 1 DPS only, who shall it be? Sacred Justia. Now, what makes her really, really strong for a new player or new account specifically, right, is going to be there's a little bit of upside and downside to her. Her downside is she is going to need a little bit of dupes, right? You can see right here with 1 costume, alright, you're going to at +1, decently good stopping point. You're going to reduce the 6 SP to 5 SP, way more usable. If you potentially liberate her, you get even more range. Look at this, right? The range is insane. Now, if you +4 her, right, +2, +3, and +4, notice right now the 3-turn cooldown is going to be a 1-turn cooldown, which makes her a very spammable, insane character overall, right? In terms of trying to get this particular costume to work, to operate, she is one of the most free-to-play friendly DPS in the game. Now, if you compare Sacred Justia with a lot of other DPS characters in the game, a lot of them are going to need multiple costumes, right? Some of them, Michaela has 3 costumes, right? Olivia has like, what, 4 costumes right now? So, most of those characters, they are not bad. They are strong as well to a certain extent, but requiring a bunch of costumes is going to be harder for you as a player to pull, all right, and to actually build them effectively, because you're going to be lacking in some and you might not have the currency to build plenty of costumes, right? That's number 1. Number 2 is not only about the costume itself, but this particular thing, right? The potential liberation. All right, when it comes to potential liberating a character, that is also essentially its own problem. Right now, you need to have the magic stones or magic crystals for the element to basically power them up, especially for a character like Latel. Holy, he has so much costumes, right? You gotta like get all of those up, which makes Sacred Justia one of the best character in the game. Now, if you are starting out right now, and if you you're just like in the early phase of the game, right? Consider recruiting her. You are not going to regret it. For a lot of players, she will be your carry in the story, all right, in your campaign as well, which is why she's going to be one of the best characters to obtain first. Helps you push in the story progression, right? All the way from story pack 1 to story pack 20, right? Sure, in some situation, there could be some bosses, all right? She doesn't shine against bosses because she mostly shine when there's plenty of enemies in the map. You can see right here, her damage increased by 80% per target hit, right? So the more enemies you can hit with her, the better it is. Now, Sacred Justia, very, very strong. Highly recommend you guys to get her. Is also a very good, another very good pair or complementary character for her is going to be Zenif right here now. What is Zenif all about? This particular Zenif, as you can see, she is going to be one of the most, I would say, unique character in the game. First of all, as far as I know, there's only 2 characters in the game that can be a 0 SP character. That means it doesn't consume any cost, any skill points, right? Again, that in itself is already pretty insane. Alright, attack the enemy 6 times, alright, that's a good chain. She's a single target character, but she basically changes your character in terms of how it works. It applies concentrated fire to the enemy for 2 turns. What is concentrated fire? That means you are able to focus on that enemy that she applied this debuff to, as opposed to like just random, right? It's like taunt, but like you are doing it, right? You are applying this debuff to the enemy. Alright, apply also vulnerability to the enemy for 4 turns. This is quite a lot, the vulnerability, right? For Zenif as a whole, this is going to be a very, very important costume. And ideally, +3 is going to be the best stopping point for her, because you can see it goes down to 0 SP. Now, she complements Sacred Justia in a lot of ways. If you think about it, because Sacred Justia hits very front, sometimes there will be like more enemies at the back and you want to hit more enemies, so you can basically pair them together. Alright, Zenif pair with Sacred Justia. So in my opinion, these are going to be the 3 that you want to look into, right? It's going to be B-Rank Idol Helena, Sacred Justia, yeah, and then of course Robin Hood Zenif. Now, what about Mammon, right? Where does she lies right now? So I have had time to build my Mammon as well, and right now I can say that she is actually pretty strong. Alright, she's quite different in a lot of situations. She boosts herself, increasing her crit damage, and she is going to be able to increase her max HP as a whole. Now, Mammon is a little bit complicated. She's like a double-edged sword in terms of she's good, but she's also bad. So what is she good or what is she bad about? So she's good in a situation where if the battle lasts very long, she is going to be very strong right there, because she is a character that scales off HP. She can do like 8 chain, which is a lot, right? That means if you guys are aware, the more hits you apply to the enemy, the more chain you can do, and that's going to scale higher, right? The more chain you can apply, that means your damage is going to increase in that proportion. So in most cases, she's strong in that area. Pretty big range as well, right? Now, what is her downside then, right? What is the going to be like, in my opinion, like the negative points of her compared to somebody like Sacred Justia? Now, Sacred Justia, she's a physical DPS character, right? That means you can buff her via Liberta. You can also use Latel, Homunculus Latel to buff her, and she's going to get, the buff is proportional and instantly scale, right? But with Mammon, she's like a HP scaling character, right? HP scaling character. Now, what is the problem with that, right? The problem is even though here it says magic damage, it doesn't scale as well with magic attack scaling. So if you use Helena to buff Mammon, right, she's not going to effectively do that much compared to a character that scales off magic attack. So she scales off, right here you can see her own max HP, right? The higher her HP is, the better it is. So that means a lot of supporters don't really synergize with her that well, alright? So the only supporters that basically can, I would say, like in a way, boost her effectively is going to be the crit damage supporters for now. But in most cases, those are going to be like not super meta. We got Rue, right? The Red Riding Hood Rue. We also got, what's the other one? The other one is going to be Rafitia, right? The one that, the default Glutty one, right? So we got those characters that can boost her. But if you're mostly tackling in like a regular PvE scenario, like story pack and stuff, right? You're mostly going to use Liberta or like Helena, right? And those two are pretty much staple for now. So in most cases, that's probably one of the reasons why it's harder to recommend her for new players, right? Now, if you're a veteran player, you've been playing for a while, that shouldn't be a problem, right? That's like one downside that Mammon has. One more thing that you should consider about Mammon, right? That I think some players might overlook is the gears herself. Now, with a lot of these characters, right? Some of these characters like Sacred Justia, and of course like a bunch of other characters that we get, you know, all of those physical and magic characters, you can basically swap their gears interchangeably with each other. But with Mammon, she's a little bit weird, she's a little bit different because she's a HP scaling character. She is going to need a very specific gear, right? You want to have the HP percent on the gears, right? Those are going to be very, very important. And ideally, like this one, the magic attack is not that good compared to HP percent. That's what you want to try to get for her. So you are going to need to have a very specific substats for her to work optimally. And these gears are going to be specifically tailored towards her, right? That you are not able to transfer this gear to someone else. So in terms of value, she's actually a little bit expensive to build in that case. Now, early on, for new players, that's going to be your struggle, right? You might not be able to have a bunch of gears laying around and stuff. You might need to swap your gears around. And that's going to be how it is with all of these things, right? But with Mammon, as you can see, right, that's just going to be one of her downsides, I would say, right? It's not the end of the world, but at the end of the day, if you have a gear that you specific set of gear that you're trying to improve upon, you can't really shuffle them around like how you do with other characters. So that will be one thing that you have to look into, right? Especially when you're considering getting her. I would ideally prioritize Helena, Sacred Justia second, and then maybe Zenif third, and then Mammon fourth, right? Some players might say that Zenif should be the second priority, but it really depends. I do think that Zenif, she's going to be one of the few single target character that she's very strong. You're gonna use her a lot in a lot of situations, in a lot of bosses and stuff, but you don't use her all the time. There are going to be some situations that you're just gonna use other amplifier, right? For example, like you're gonna use either Livia or Rafina or even Celia to stack chain. So she does still compete with those other characters, right? So I would say priority should be from left to right, right? For this particular one, that would be where I would go, right? Or lean towards if you're a new player. Now again, if you're a veteran player, of course, there are some of these rules that doesn't apply to you or intermediate players, so make sure you guys are aware of those, and you can recruit accordingly depending on the roster that you have, right? So that's pretty much going to be it for this particular video. Let me know what you guys think of all of these stuffs going on in Brown Dust 2. Definitely, this is going to be it for this particular season. You can consider also using all of this right now. Now keep in mind, the current collaboration character, the Serang Kagura characters are not going to be available via this method, right? You cannot pick them with Powder of Hope. Those are going to be limited characters. Now, after Serang Kagura, perhaps we are going to enter May or June. There might be like a swimsuit event, anniversary, half anniversary-ish stuff going on. So make sure you guys pay attention to that as well, right? So that's going to be something that we have to wait for the news, right? So with that being said, that's going to be it for this video. Subscribe, give this video a like if you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.